we're solving a pain point that's existed forever in dental, and that's dealing with insurances and being on the phones, right?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. I'm your host, Kyle Summerford. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Kyle, and we are back for another episode of the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast. Today we are with Mike Nelson from Stratus. Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Cool, man. So, what I wanted to do, we started working with you guys in the group, and, I'm getting a lot of questions about what is Stratus? How does it work? And, what is it about? I really wanted to bring you on here today because I think it's beneficial for us to kind of show the group members to say, look, this is Stratus. It's saving time, it's saving money, it's making our lives easier as office managers. And so that's kind of why I brought you on here today, so we can kind of run through things and really show the power of Stratus and what it can do for dental practices.
Awesome. Yeah, super excited to chat about it.
Cool. So first, I think, maybe share with us a little bit on Stratus. Like, what is it? How'd you guys get started and things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a simple product as far as like what it does, but we're solving a pain point that's existed forever in dental, and that's dealing with insurances and being on the phones, right? I mean, there's a lot of softwares out there now that are pulling some good insurance information from portals and making that easier. Unfortunately, a lot of practices are still having to spend a ton of time on phones because they need full breakdowns. They need to know histories. They need to know, downgrades and just kind of all the information to be successful in the practice and to have a good experience for both the patient and just to run their practice efficiently. So our whole goal is to eliminate the need to ever be on the phones with insurance again. So we're using AI to do that, which is exciting. Technology is getting better and better. So using an AI agent to make those phone calls for you and get custom breakdowns for practices so that they've got all the information they need without spending all that time on the phones. So, I mean, I'm sure you're very familiar. Like a lot of these practices have employees that are specifically, hired to deal with insurance and to be on the phones, and it's crazy how much time we're spending on that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all day long. So if some of the members that are maybe watching, you guys may not know this, but I started using Stratus in the practice. And so we have worked out a special offer that we're going to get into towards the end of this video at the end. We worked out a special deal for you guys with Stratus. So you guys can actually check it out and use it in your practice. But back to what Mike was saying, time saving. Like, we are saving so much time now. We used to have one member assigned to just doing this all day long eligibility, calling insurance companies, and we've used automated software that does insurance verification checks. But the problem is that we wouldn't get a lot of the information we need, or it just wouldn't be accurate. And we would find out, oh, this is not exactly the amount they have remaining on their benefits, or this is not in fact true. We would only find that out by calling the insurance company and sitting on the phone for 20, 30, 40 minutes on hold. So let's get into, I really want you to show Stratus to the group. We could jump right into it. I'm going to do a screen share with you. We'll set that up right now, and then maybe we can just kind of run through and show the members like how this thing works so amazingly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, let me share my screen here. All right. Can you see my screen all right?
Yep, very clear.
Perfect. Yeah, so kind of what I mentioned before, like our whole goal is to make this simple. We don't want you to have another software that you've got to learn and figure out and spend time using. I mean, a lot of this is just we want to set this up and be proactive with just getting these checks ahead of time. You know, there's no shortage of amazing softwares out there that, you know, do things to help grow the practice, and using Stratus is going to eliminate, or I guess free up some time for practices to use some of those other softwares to grow the practice, to schedule treatment, you know, to have a better experience with patients. So eliminating the need to be on the phones with insurance is going to be huge. So in here, I mean, we've got different integrations, right? I mean, we've got integrations with Dentrix, Eaglesoft, Open Dental, where we can pull your whole patient base into the portal. It's going to pull important information, like their name, their birth date, the provider ID, you know, and what insurance provider they're using. And then we're also going to sync with the actual appointment date of the patients as well, just to make that a little bit easier. So that way, you know, we can come in here and be really proactive on verifying patients ahead of time. You know, if it's this week that we want to just see everybody that's scheduled for this week, we can apply those dates, and it's going to pull up all those patients on here. And again, this is a demo environment, so we don't have a ton of data in here, but you're going to see all of the patients that would be on the schedule. And then we can pick and choose which patients we want to get a full breakdown of. So we can do a batch, you know, and do them all at the same time, whether it's all of the new patients or if it's patients that have changed insurance information. You know, there's different scenarios, but you can pick and choose who you want and then submit a batch with your MPI number, and it will initiate those phone calls with the AI to start getting that breakdown information.
Now, Mike, so this is pulling it directly from the practice management software, right?
Yep. Yep.
So this is for softwares that you guys can integrate to. How would it work? I know how it works because I have Archie, but how would it
Yep.
work if you don't have integration?
Yeah. So no problem if you don't have an integration. Instead of pulling the patients directly in, all you would do is add the patient right here into the software with their name, their birth date, and then on the next page, it's going to just ask for the insurance ID number.
Yes. Okay.
So
Okay.
very easy to add them, and that's a great point that you bring up. Like whether there's an integration or not, the problem we're solving is the time on the phones. It's not, you know, bringing them into this portal and doing this. I mean, it's as easy to just add a patient, hit the breakdown button, and you don't have to worry about those long hold times, going through call trees, asking certain questions with insurance, or having to call back because you hit your limit on how many patients you can ask them about, you know, just different things that you run into with those insurance calls. So
yeah. Okay, cool.
So we've made this super easy as far as the full custom breakdown. I mean, we do have a form that we present first to everybody that has most of the information that you would need on a breakdown. So so when you're setting this up, I mean, you can kind of see a typical breakdown form with your effective dates, you know, your general coverage, what's being used of that so far. You know, it's going to have certain codes. It's going to have missing tooth clauses. You know, it will show your downgrades. It will show your histories. Frequencies are going to be on there, you know, which is huge, especially for new patients. You know, somebody comes in and you're going to want to know what the history is so that you're not billing stuff that's already been done, or
Right.
frequencies, obviously, you know, is it two every year? Is it one every 6 months? So lot of different things on here, but we can customize it for every practice. I mean, every practice is different. You know, whether it's a specialty practice and working just with a handful of codes, you know, or if there's specific nuances or verbiage that they want answered on those insurance calls, we can customize these forms however they want. So
Yeah. Yep.
when we onboard a practice, we go through a kind of a setup wizard with each practice, and we can either edit the existing form and just add things um, just one at a time here.
Yeah.
So if there's
And Mike,
specific,
Mike, sorry. I just wanted to jump in here and say, so I manage a perio practice, and there are specific things that we need as opposed to a general practice, like you said. And so we have worked to customize our forms specific to make sure that we get all the information we need. But yeah, let's definitely show us how this works exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. So on the setup wizard, what we're looking at here is just specific codes that they want on their form. So I mean, it's as easy as just picking and choosing which codes they're wanting on here. So that's super easy. If there's certain questions that they want, we have a whole team that's building out these forms for practices. So, whether it's you want to just email us your current form that you're using and we kind of just mirror it to what you're used to, or, a lot of practices will start using our generic form that we have pre-built. And then as things come up, or they're like, oh, I would really like to know this or that, they can email us and we can make those changes on the fly. And it's a lot of fun to really just dial in their whole form so that they've got everything that they need and they never have to make those phone calls anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this alone has been a game changer for us because, we used to use a generic form and it just had a lot of things that didn't really apply. Um, and again, like specialty practice, I think this is great. Like a specialty practice is going to ask for certain things that maybe a general practice is not looking for. But you guys make it easy. So that's one of the things that I really liked when I just did the demo and I went through the process and I was like, okay, I said, because I have worked in the past where it's like, you send your form and then they look at it and they're like, oh, you're gonna have to build this, by scratch. But the whole clicking of the boxes makes it so much easier, but anyway, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, once we have the form built, I mean, then we just let the software handle it. So AI will call. It's a conversational AI that will have an actual phone call with the insurance agent, right? And it will just start going through these questions. And what's nice, and what everybody's sometimes you run into is, sometimes you don't get through a full questionnaire, right? Or you've got to call back for some reason,
Yeah.
or whatever. But AI doesn't care, right? I mean, we can call the insurance as many times as we need in order to get all the information on the form filled out, and then provide that to the practice. So it's a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been working well for us in the practice. I'm glad there's finally a solution that that one just kind of takes everything off of our plate, because office managers have a ton of things to do every day and tasks, and it piles up. So you're not having to like stay on top of one person and really kind of like, making sure like, hey, did you get the right information? It's more like, here's the information we want you to get, and you don't really have to get it now. You just have to enter this, because we're not integrated, but it doesn't take long. I explained to one of the members in the group, like, the staff member we have, they just basically just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Um, One of the most important things I could say my feedback on this is that, whoever's the one, if it's not integrated, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Mhm.
think this is kind of straightforward where, that person, whoever it is that's in charge of entering the info, needs to make sure that the insurance info is in fact correct, right? How would it work if, say, the insurance information was incorrect, what would it look like? What would it look like? What would be the feedback to the user? How would it say like could not be verified? Would it say, could you show us that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to give you different statuses based off of, how that's coming in, whether they're active, inactive, whether things were terminated or not. So, we're going to get you feedback on all of those, the insurance checks in here. And then let's see if I've got one in here on this demo. I don't have one on here in the demo, but you're gonna get updates on the status of that breakdown of
Got it. Now,
what's
now
going on.
that's perfect. Thanks for explaining that. Now, what if a office has an emergency patient come in? Let's say they come in the same day and they're like, "Hey, look, we need to get their information. The patient is on their way over to the practice, right? Maybe they're going to be there in an hour, maybe they're going to be there in 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever the appointment time is that was offered. Um, how would it work instead of doing this in advance, right, with the batch option? How would it
Hmm.
work to go through that process?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the breakdown here, let's say this Krishna right here that just came in for an emergency. We need to get a breakdown right away. We do have a priority setting on here. So typically, I guess we'll back up a little bit. So typically, a breakdown we say takes around 6 hours. We tell practices the best business practices is to try to do that at least 24 hours ahead of time, so that those are ready to go. You've got all the information you need. But we know that every once in a while, those emergencies come in and we need it a little quicker. So we can set a priority in here where it's going to do it within a couple business hours so that we can do a same day check and get that figured out for you.
So, Mike, in terms of like the practice, how would an office go about like logging onto it? Is it like a separate software? Is it cloud-based? Kind of walk us through that process.
Yeah. Yeah. So cloud based, just going to our website, use stratus.com, hit the login button so you can get to this at anywhere. We'll have for those that are integrated, we'll have a bridge where it's going to still pull in your patients. You'll still see it all, but yeah, you can log on anywhere and manage this. So
Cool.
super easy.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. So Mike, now the big question is, what is the special offer for members of our group?
Yeah. So typically we're charging $8.99 for a setup fee to kind of build out your forms. We're training the AI exactly what it needs to cover in those phone calls with insurance. With this group, we're waiving that setup fee. So we'll build out your forms for you. We'll train the AI and just make sure that that's everything that you need in your practice. And then pricing is just based off of usage, as far as your volume. So we've got different packages, that are all based off of your volume, how many new patients you're seeing, how many patients you anticipate, have changed insurance or whatever. So we can put you in a specific tier. But yeah, we'll get you all set up without a setup fee.
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate the offer. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share the link that you guys provided for members of our group. I'll put that at the bottom of this video so our viewers can kind of get access to that deal, maybe take a demo and see if it's a good fit for their practice. I don't see why it wouldn't be a good fit.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, and AI is really changing the way things are doing, are the way we're doing business. The way we're saving time and stress and everything else. So yeah, Mike, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you kind of giving us this demonstration and, showing our group members like how they can use this in their practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, super excited to chat with anybody. I would just say, whether you've got somebody that's doing this as their full-time job in the practice and on the phones, or whether it's, something that you're just needing to call insurance here and there, regardless of your situation, there's better things in the practice that you could be doing other than sitting on the phones with insurance. And it doesn't matter what the volume is. Like, let's get that out of your hair so that you can
Yeah.
focus on things that really grow the practice and matter. So
Awesome. All right, Mike. So take care. Appreciate you jumping on here again. And guys, definitely check out Stratus. Again, I'm putting the link at the bottom of this video. Give them a demo, see if it's a good fit for your practice. I mean, if you guys want to save time and stress on doing eligibility all day long, we finally brought it into our practice. And like I said, it's been working amazing. We're happy with the results. And, now we have that one staff member who was doing this all day long, just really focusing on other tasks that could be prioritized in the practice to make us better and more efficient. Anyway, guys, take care, and we'll talk to you soon and see you in another video. Bye.
thanks, Kyle.